As of recording, there are 37 tracks present in Gran Turismo 7, all are unique to each other, giving different racing experiences from each other. However, for me, there's one track that rises amongst the rest of them, and coincidentally, it's in this week's Daily Race B, and that track being Trial Mountain. So let's take a short dive into what makes this track among the top spots on my personal favourite list. Trial Mountain was introduced back in Gran Turismo, back when the series was born, and has been in every Gran Turismo except Gran Turismo Sport. And when Trial Mountain was shown in the reveal trailers, everyone was ecstatic for its return to the series. But when we got the track, there were many critiques that the community had. Track-wise, the straights were lengthened, and the final yeet chicane that we all had memories of throwing our cars into for interesting results was replaced with a regular chicane. Aesthetically, the track was also different. Trial Mountain took a step into the modern day with less tree cover, the rock cliff was reduced, and the tunnels were modernized. Although many of us were hooked on nostalgia of the original, some of us were seeing through the fog of nostalgia and had the realization that the changes had their intended effect, to modernize and make the track open to hard racing. For someone like me, I do enjoy the aesthetic and the soul of a track. It's what makes the track unique, but many felt the soul of Trial Mountain was taken away when the trees was reduced, the cliffs were made smaller, and the yeet chicane was gone. The rebuttal to that is the beauty of Gran Turismo 7. The graphical upgrade from GT7 from Gran Turismo 6 is just as big as the improvement from Gran Turismo 2 to Gran Turismo 3, and the photorealistic graphics with day and night cycles make up for these losses easily. I mean, have you really stopped to look? I hope this doesn't give the vibe that I hated the old aesthetic, because I do miss it, but the graphical upgrade does soothe the loss of the environment. And on the plus side, with removing some of the trees, we're able to see more of the landscape that the trees would have blocked otherwise. Alongside, we have more spectators around the track, giving the mood of a race day. But more importantly, the more important point I'm getting at here, is when you're racing, you don't really pay attention to these small details, as you're instead busy with fighting cars around you and trying not to run into each other in order to have a race, and the aesthetic complaints simply become static background noise. There has not been a scenario where my mind goes, ooh, that's a nice tree, that that rock looks nice, whilst going toe to toe with someone. There have been two major layout changes in Gran Turismo 7's iteration of Trial Mountain. First of which is extending the two major straights on the circuit, giving the circuit a more stretched out layout. These straights ensure that the cars are able to gain on each other through slipstream and conjure up an attack into the end of each one of these straights, whether or not the track is the forward or reverse layout. Quick side note to that rule, if you overtake into turn 1 in the forward layout, you are a psychopath. You're gonna cause a collision. Please don't ever do it. Even if you fail to overtake your opponent into one of these corners at the end of the straight, the bits between the straights have been relatively untouched, and therefore these sections provide a mean for the leading car to break the toe. But on the flip side, these sections are actually quite easy to follow opponents through, and by the time you realize it, you're on the second long straight, and you can do another attacking move into the end of that straight. What makes the bits in between the straights so great is that if you get them wrong, it's quite hard to recover, as there is grass lining the circuit's edges, giving you dirty tires equals no grip, equals hit the wall, equals shadow realm entry. And the fact there are barriers to bounce you around leaves no room for error. Not only that, there are some sneaky spots for drivers to put their nose into for an unexpected overtake out of the blue. The straights, in combination to the easy to follow sections, allow for cars to stay close and engage in battles for longer. The other major change to this track is the reprofiling of the final chicane. You know, the yeet chicane. Now, I know it was fun to throw our cars at the chicane back in the day, but in all seriousness, this chicane provides once again more overtaking zones, both forwards and backwards. It's also a very tricky section to get right, as in the forward direction it determines your speed down the pit straight, And on the reverse, it determines your drive up the hill, that's long or high, however you want to describe it, which is important to keep yourself from being overtaken in the next couple of corners. The fact that there are so many opportunities to both overtake and break away from others due to its layout is why I love this place. And as I've said before in other videos, I love balance in tracks. Because of its balance, I feel as if Trial Mountain is a track that everyone can get into and provide good racing throughout, whether or not you're a noob or someone who plays. I don't know, how would you describe it? Pro seems a bit cheesy, so I don't know what word to use. So, do you agree or disagree with my short analysis of Trial Mountain? Or maybe I'm just talking smack and should be locked up for saying a fictional track is among my favorites in Gran Turismo 7. I thought giving a short 30-second section in my worst/best features videos wouldn't do it justice, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.